Tell me about the inner critic that you had one time.
Okay, so the inner critic that I had one time, I named her Felicia. Okay?
Felicia.
We named
Bye,
her
Felicia.
Exactly.
All right, we're here at Nashville Success Summit, and I am just so fired up because it's been such an amazing day one. We're here at Music City Work Club, sitting in the Honey Pod studio. We just launched this studio, absolutely amazing. And I've got someone absolutely outstanding sitting across from me. Can you introduce yourself and just tell us a little bit about what you got going on in your world?
So thanks for having me. I'm excited to be in the Honey Pod here in Nashville, day one of the Success Summit. So I'm Rebecca Hatch-Black. I'm going to be speaking tomorrow. And tomorrow I am going to be speaking about the power of confidence. Because in the world of entrepreneurship, it's really easy to say that you want to go into business for yourself, but it's a lot harder to believe in yourself when you're not surrounded around the right people, right? And so you have to learn to believe in yourself, and you have to learn how to silence that inner critic. And so I'm going to be talking about that tomorrow.
That inner critic. Ooh.
It's a big one.
Ooh. Tell me about the inner critic that you had one time.
Okay, so the inner critic that I had one time, I named her Felicia. Okay?
Felicia.
We named
Bye,
her
Felicia.
Exactly. That's it. Because when you realize that your inner critic is trying to talk you out of something that you know that you should be doing, it can be something as simple as, let's just go ahead and hit that snooze button one more time. You know, Felicia will tell you to hit that snooze button. Felicia will tell you not to make healthy choices eating. Felicia will tell you it's a better idea to go out to happy hour than it is to write that email that you've been dreading writing. So you have to learn when to tell Felicia it's time for her to go home. So when you name your inner critic, then you're able to separate that from yourself, and you're able to say, hey, bye, Felicia. Let me put Rebecca's hat back on, and let me get back in the saddle and do what it is that I need to do.
Oh my gosh, you are so right when you say that. And we know we've all faced it. Like, in all seriousness, I think I face it like 5 times a week.
Oh, no kidding. Well, listen, we face it every single day, you know, and it's one of those things that it can really overtake you if you don't pay attention. And if you're not spending the right amount of time, you know, I call it Control, Alt, Delete. And you alternate the people, the places, and the things that you're spending your time with. And you have to learn to alternate the amount of time that you're spending in these places with these people who are pushing you away from what it is that you need to do to move the needle in your business.
I have a question for you. Are you following your dreams right now?
I am. And it feels so weird to say that, but I am, you know, and
What are your dreams?
so my dreams, my word for 2025 was impact. Okay.
I like that one.
And
I like that word.
And my word for 2026 is intention.
Ooh.
So in 2025, if it did not create a positive impact in my life or someone else's life, I didn't want any part of it. And this year, if I am not intentional in building the legacy that all of that impact that began being created last year, if I'm not intentional with my time, my effort, and my energy, I'm never going to be able to build that legacy that dreams are truly made of. Because like a dream world for me is not about like mega riches or anything like that. Because some of the happiest people I know are the poorest people. And some of the most miserable people I know are some of the richest people. And so I hate when people tie like, oh, once I have this amount of money in my bank account, then I'm going to be happy. It just doesn't happen like that. It's like, it's an inner sense of peace and an inner sense of contentment. And I think that that's why confidence is so super important to me, because if we don't have the confidence to listen to ourselves and what feels good, what feels peaceful, what makes us feel like we're walking in our purpose, then somebody else tells us what path to walk. And then we end up compromising who we are to fit the version of us that someone else wants us to be. And we just can't do that because that crushes your dreams.
Oh, ooh. Rebecca coming in hot right now. Let's go.
Oh my.
I found in my experience, when you do live that other life that's not really your dream, or you're not showing up true or honest, or you don't actually have that self-love, then you start to attract folks into someone and something that you're not. And then you feel that shallowness, right? And I think when you put money over everything, or you know, everything's all about getting to the next step financially. Not that I don't love money, right? I think it's one of the most important tools we need in this world, to do the things that we want to create impact with, to do the things that we want to have a legacy built with. But I've found that if you don't truly show up as yourself, then you're going to attract people to something that you really aren't, opposed to something who you holistically are. And I think that was just such an amazing realization that I had a few years ago. And ever since, I've changed, and I'm still changing, right? We're always progressing. We're always moving forward. We're always, shedding and building new things. I've just realized more and more how important that is, especially when it comes to that topic of loving yourself and self-love. Another question I have for you would be, you talked about confidence. Where does confidence lie on the scale when it comes to loving yourself?
Ooh, Jim, that is such a good one, because confidence is everybody's birthright, but nobody is born with it. And so...
Ooh, I knew we were going to get going today.
So who you surround yourself with and what you surround yourself with, what you listen to, it makes the biggest difference in that. It will either build you up or it will tear you down. Not everybody has the luxury of being in a really positive environment. And so sometimes you hear really negative things growing up. And so some people, they just never really believe in themselves. And before I ever went to hair school, I took entry-level psychology classes, and I learned about this man named Maslow, okay? And so he talks about the hierarchy of needs and how we as humans, we satisfy these needs in an order. And confidence is on the 4th level. Your purpose and your calling in life is on the 5th. So your confidence is just below your purpose and your calling in life. And so your brain, anytime it perceives any type of change, or if someone says something to you, it's like, well, Jim, who do you think you are? Rebecca, who do you think you are? And sometimes it's Felicia that's like, Rebecca, who do you think you are? I'm like, bye, Felicia. I am me. I was given this message. I was put in this situation. I've overcome these things so that I can help other people do the exact same thing. So confidence is one of those big things that it is a muscle. You must build it. It will not be built for you. You must build it.
If I had to ask you, what's the first thing that someone should do so that they can build their confidence, how would you respond to that?
You have to stop abandoning yourself. It's
Wow.
really simple. And abandoning yourself feels a lot like saying yes when you really want to say no. Going to something when you know that those people don't even really like you. And I mean, like, this. This isn't just a feeling, like you have validation that these things are not good for you. These things drain your energy. These people, these places, and these things, they drain you. They cause you to become, as my mentor Tim Story says, a discount version of yourself.
A discount version of yourself. So how would you advise someone to continue to navigate a life where they don't abandon themselves? Is that something around the fact of like setting boundaries? Do you have to find clarity in where you want to go, understand where you're at? Kind of break that down for me a little bit, and let's dive deep into that one.
You definitely have to get clear on where it is that you're going. And you most definitely have to set boundaries. And here's the funny thing about the boundaries, Jim, and this is why a lot of people get hung up, is because when you set these boundaries, sometimes it costs you relationships in your life, right?
I mean, someone who focuses on human connection, someone who studies this, someone who lives a life where I believe people are power. I've navigated that and I've failed miserably at it because I want to people please. I want to, especially when I first started to say publicly that I'm teaching human connection and I'm teaching it in marketing and in sales. And, more recently, we just did a dinner with one of our other speakers here, Brian Galke, on facial feature decoding and body language. All that rolls up into human connection.
It does.
And I felt this pressure that, well, I've got to connect with everybody. I've got to make sure everybody, feels warm and fuzzy, heard and seen. And in reality, what that did was put me down a path where I plummeted personally because I felt that I had to make sure everybody felt inclusive and included. And I had to start to navigate and put up those boundaries. And those boundaries aren't so much like, hey, screw you, don't talk to me or anything like that.
Right.
But to say no and to say, hey, thanks so much for reaching out to me. I really appreciate the fact that you want me to keynote in Beverly Hills next month, but it's a 6-week notice. My fee is X, Y, and Z.
Yes.
And unfortunately, I can't discount it at this point in time.
Yes.
I'd love to do that in the future, but I'm going to not be able to make this. And what I've realized in those moments is how you position that to still continue to make a connection is drastically different than putting up that hard wall and being a jerk or just saying, no, thank you, or no, or maybe next time.
100%.
Like there's a process to that.
There
And
is.
once you learn that process of boundaries, you, again, like we were talking about earlier, come back to a world where you are showing yourself that you do love yourself. You're showing yourself that you do have that clarity, that you do have that intention for the greater good, for impact, but to do it in a way that which is the right way for you specifically.
Yes, because there really is an art to the boundary setting. Because you don't just go in like a bull in a china shop and you're like, how dare you ask me? We're only 6 weeks out. And like, why couldn't you have asked me 6 months earlier? That's going to piss a lot of people off. And no one's going to want to be friends with someone who talks like that.
Yes.
But when you learn how to do it in like a really nice and creative way, I call it like the bless and release way. Like, thank you so much for thinking of me. I would have been honored to consider this. Unfortunately, we're within a 6-week time crunch, and I'm just not going to be able to do this. Please keep me in mind for future events.
It feels good
feels
on
so
the
much
other
better.
end,
Yeah.
and it feels good when you say it that way.
Yes. It's a win-win. You don't want to go in and be like, a lot of people think that confidence is like walking into a room and being all cocky and be like beating the chest and the gorilla. No. Confidence is quiet. It's subtle. It's calm. It's peaceful. It's just like, that doesn't work for me. I'm not going to be able to discount this in this time frame. If this still works for you, that would be amazing. But if it doesn't, I also understand.
What a great way to put that, Rebecca. Thank you for breaking that down. And thank you for jumping on and just having an amazing conversation for the last 15 minutes.
Anytime, Jim.
Anything you're excited about for the rest of the conference you want to share with the world?
Ooh, I am excited about the AI piece of things. Yeah, the human connection with the AI. That's really what I'm excited about.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Thank you, Rebecca.
You're welcome. Thank you, Jim.